पुरख निरभव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद। तन तन गुरु गोबिंद सिंह साहिब सच्चे पातशाह, तन तन गुरु ग्रंथ साहब जी महाराज। कमाले करामात कायम करीम, रजा बख्श राज़ रेहा को रहीम। अमा बख्श बख्शन देव दस्तगीर, रजा बख्श रोजी देव दिल पजीर। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। Today we will discuss and explore the aspects of Dhyan. What is Dhyan? Why do we need to understand and know Dhyan? And how to do Dhyan? One of the troubling aspects of our life is our wandering mind. A wandering mind is wandering life. There is a saying in English, a rolling stone gathers no moss. Most of us live our lives in that intensity. We have lived through life, gone through its experiences, yet we don't know what is life. We haven't really assimilated the experience to be able to say what are the depths of life and how do we understand and solve the puzzle of life. Today's topic is to do with Dhyan. We all have this experience of Dhyan. To some degrees, we all use the Dhyan every day. We cook our food, we have to be focused on cooking. When we write an essay, we have to have our thoughts and focus on those thoughts, then collate them, process them into this essay which we are writing. When we do yoga, we think of the asanas which we do. That has to do with Dhyan. In fact, everything about life has to do with Dhyan. But yet, most of us don't know Dhyan. We know the wandering mind. We are wandering from one subject to another. And in this wandering, we don't really understand the vision of life, the darshan of life. When the mind is stable, when the mind is focused, when the mind is still, then only it can see. Imagine a pond which is full of turbid water. It's all soiled with mud. We can't see what is in the surface and what is in the bottom of the pond. But if this dust settles, the water becomes clear, then we can see the bottom of the pond. But most of us will live through life and not understand what is this still water. What is this aspect of the mind where the mind is completely still? Let me take an example of going on a journey. If we were to go on a journey, we would put fuel in the vehicle and then we would drive to whatever destination we have. Dhyan has to do with this fuel which we put in the vehicle. It is the fuel which fires life. It is the fuel which gives direction to life. What is the material in our life has to move, and Dhyan makes it move. What are those choices with which it moves? Depends on the conditioning of our mind. What we choose. Imagine a tree, a stump which has roots below the earth which we can't see. And imagine the tree which we can see above. For a minute, you fathom that unseen part of the tree is our life before we took birth. And the seen part is the physical world we live in. In the middle of these two, the tree comes together at one point where everything assimilates at the level of the earth, and then it spreads out into the root system underneath and into the tree above. Such is life. We are on a journey. The life which we have lived before this birth is like the root system. But everything has come together at birth. All the accounts have been frozen. All the baggages have been prepared for the journey. And we take birth. Before we take birth, our dhyan is assimilated at a point. We are focused on something, which is our source. That is the source we are coming from. Maharaj says, live chutki lagi trishna, maya amar vartaya. At birth, our connection with our source breaks. This is a dhyan which we were all in. And then this dhyan comes into the physical body and it becomes outward looking. So now we are using dhyan in our physical life every day, but we have forgotten our source. We have forgotten where we came from and where we need to go. Maharaj says, kahan te aave, kahan jaave, kahan rahe samai. Where does a human being come from? Where does he go? And how does he find rest in this life? The solution to life comes from understanding life. Like a game we play. We understand the rules and then we play the game. Like a trade we do. We understand the product we are dealing in and then we trade. If we don't know the rules of the game, we will not be able to play. If we don't know the product we are dealing in, then we may give it away cheap. And this is what happens to most of us. We give away life cheap. Maharaj says, हीरे जैसा जन्म है, कौड़ी बदले जाए. Life is like a diamond, but we give it away for a farthing. If in this lifetime we are able to understand and know dhyan, then it will never leave us. Dhyan is one element of the spiritual journey. It is not the entire journey. But without dhyan, there is no journey. Without the fuel, the vehicle will never move. There is no destination. We are only wandering with just creating baggages. Right and wrong, good and bad. Moving from one system to another with nothing really coming to our hands. All the wealth we may collect, all the honor we may get is only within this frame which we live in. It's a transient part of life. And without dhyan, we can be certain we will not understand life. Dhyan, we all do. We all study when we grow up. We all play when we grow up. Everything has to do with Dhyan. Even today when we are cooking, driving, writing, taking decisions, it's all to do with Dhyan. And that Dhyan is not focused, it's random. It is like distributing energy to 100 channels. But what if I remove those 100 channels? What if I take them away? Then where do I go? That is what happens at death. Our attention will assimilate to a few points which we may have precipitated in our lifetime. Certain worries about our family or our situations which are incomplete, which we cannot leave incomplete. And we will define our past life to some extent with those incomplete decisions of life. But life is not about the physical world. The physical world is an experience we have, and it is not a permanent experience. But for a minute, the dhyan which we have, most of us will experience that dhyan through a curtain of deceit, a false curtain, so to say. What I mean by that is that most of us will go through life with thoughts as our partner. The only thing which we really experience in this whole life are our moving thoughts. They never stop. It can be worry, it can be imagination, it can be fantasy, it can be thinking good for someone, it can be thinking bad for someone. It can be love, it can be hatred, but it is all in thoughts. And what are the thoughts and where do they come from? If our dhyan is in our thoughts, then we must need to know what is the origin of these thoughts and what is the relationship of these thoughts and me. This is a part of the mind that we know. We know these moving thoughts are a part of our mind, but where do they come from? In the Siddh Gosht, Guru Nanak Sahib was asked a question by the Siddhs. And they asked him that what if the physical body and the heart is not there, where does the man go? Jab hai hirday deh na hoti, ta man koth rehta. Where does the mind go, Maharaj, if there is no body, there is no heart place? Maharaj says, hirday deh na hoti odu, man sun reha baragi. Man goes into the sun avastha. Sun is our source mind, Maharaj. And the experience of dhyan is going back to our source. It's a journey to assimilate and correlate our energies away from the physical conditioning of life, and then parking it at its source. Then we will know where we came from, where we will go. Our past lives will be like a mirror. When you see someone from your past life, you will know this is from my past life. It's like a mirror. The man and the mind is like a mirror. It reflects everything which goes into it. But the dhyan is energy. And this entire creation is energy, is dhyan. This whole creation has come about out of Dhyan. So then, the source of me, my man, and this entire creation is the same. But for that, we need to know, how do I detach myself from thoughts? Maharaj says, इस मन को कोई खोजो पाई, तन छूटे मन कहाँ समाई. Search this mind. When he says search, he says go beyond thoughts. Because the thoughts have no real, they are a random movement. They don't have any real tangible experience. They are only random. Some of them are tangible, have meaning. Some thoughts even come from the beyond. They come from the spirit world. But those are very few. Most of our thoughts are just random energy wasting. We keep thinking, keep worrying, keep thinking, keep worrying, and drain our energy. But if we don't do that for some time, if the draining of energy goes away momentarily, then thoughts don't remain our master. They become our slaves. We use thoughts as our tool of life. And we can be free of them and be in our Dhyan. So Dhyan is the thoughtless world. And Dhyan is also the thought world. The thought world distracts the Dhyan and disseminates it. It spreads it out. And the moment we can go away from our thoughts, we assimilate this energy. And the energy becomes our focus center. So in the mythology, they talk about these chakras, this experience of life. It has all to do with Dhyan. Where is our Dhyan at any one time in life? Not judging as right or wrong. But we don't know Dhyan in its essence. What I mean by that is that we don't know Dhyan which has no desire. When our Dhyan has desire, then it is moving. Then it is spreading energy. Then it is spending energy. But the moment it's desireless, it stops moving. And the lack of movement of the mind is an energy center. It's the source mind, which doesn't need anything to exist. Our existence today in the physical world is full of needs. We want this done, we want that done. Then we want this incomplete and we want that complete. Everything has to do with, I want this. So I am not complete without it. But that's not true. The physical world has its needs. It has its conditioning. It has its role. But this role is like a movie or a play, which is temporary. The whole experience is for those 2 or 4 hours and then it is gone. Behind this play, there is a far greater intense experience of life. So, the understanding of Dhyan has to do with dealing with our thoughts. Where do our thoughts come from? Most of our thoughts are conditioning. What we have learned, we have been told, what we have read, what we have experienced and seen. What attracts us, what pulls our energy, we move in that direction, and that defines our life. So most of us are concerned about destiny. What will tomorrow bring for me? Where my Dhyan is going, there I will go. It also defines my next birth. It defines my whole life. It also defines knowing life. how much investment I do in the physical world and how much in the spirit world. That has to do with Dhyan. Can I make my mind focused enough and stationary? Maharaj says the transformation of the man has to do with making the mind stable. Air and mat. Without stable mind cannot get transformed. So the meeting of a guru will be more intense if we have Dhyan. Otherwise, the first thing the guru will do is teach us Dhyan. Or, let me say, make us do Dhyan. And the presence of a guru will establish Dhyan. I will go into how to do Dhyan later, but first we need to understand that Dhyan is our source mind. If our mind is desireless, thoughtless, has no connection to the physical world, then it becomes an energy in itself. Stationary, stable, vibrant, and all-knowing. It knows whatever it wants to know. It's see. That is why they call the third eye. The eye where the energy is centered and can see without eyes, without the senses. Everything in our senses is also experienced through Dhyan. We hear, see, touch, feel. It has to do with Dhyan. So, somebody can touch us and we don't feel the touch because our Dhyan is not perceptive. Or we can touch someone and change the person's thought process if it is with Dhyan. So Dhyan is an energy we all have. Some of us have distracted ourselves into spreading it out, but some of us correlate, assimilate, and are able to detach ourselves from our desires, from our thoughts, and in the process we know the real nature of our man. It's not the moving mind. Chaltyo man rakhe, amrit chakhe. This part of the man where we have detached our mind from the outside distractions. Moond liye darwaze, baaj yale anhad baaje. Then it goes inward, the energy goes inward. When Guru Sahib talks about God, the experience of nature, of the life, then he talks about searching, khojna, searching the mind. He doesn't talk about searching the physical world outside. He talks about going within. And what is the tool which we need to go within? It is Dhyan. Without Dhyan, we cannot know. We can only know Dhyan when we are in the state of non-doing. We don't do anything. We don't even think. We don't desire. We don't want. We just let go. And the energy collects itself and it's vibrant in its own source mind. And then it goes to the center where it is most happy to be. And that has to do with Guru. Guru can direct the Dhyan to centers where there is a restful space within our man. It is called Thirghar, Nijgar. In the Zen Buddhism, there is a tradition and they call it Zazen. Zazen is a meditation, Zen meditation. And literally translated, it means just sitting. I just sat down, let go of my thoughts, let go of my worries, let go of my desires, let go of all my troubles, and just went in. And the energy went where? To its own source. That's the reason our energy doesn't go into our source. Our thoughts are always pulling us out of our source mind. So in fact, we need to make a lot of effort to distract our energy from its own source. And that is why all these troubles, chaos, worries, all the investment in the physical world, it's the way of distracting us from our own source. Moond liye darwaze baji ale anhad baji. And then if we go into this source mind and we know the dhyan, then we can see, then we can perceive, we can listen without the senses. We can know without the senses. So the nature of our dhyan is devoid of all connections to the physical world, even the body. And whoever has this kind of dhyan then can transcend death. But there are two aspects to dhyan. Dhyan is energy which is neutral. I can direct it with certain emotions. Hatred is one emotion. So you will see that people who are in hatred, they have more energy. They have more ability to achieve more. They will hit with force, they will fight with force. It is because of the dhyan channelized through hatred. Because hatred is the conditioning. The mind hates. Its environment is hatred. So moment it finds a hateful situation or even an escape to a hateful situation, which may not be hateful, but a release into hatred, they will take that choice. I was seeing the Kavadiyas who travel and they break up cars, beat up people, and they have so much energy. Their dhyan is waiting for hatred, not love. So love is the other energy. If there is dhyan and I channelize it through love, then it becomes a different nature. If I have to go into the spiritual world, then dhyan and love are two conditions. If I want to punish myself into the journey of the physical, then hatred and dhyan will damage me and my environment. So, dhyan and love is all-encompassing. It doesn't have any losers. Everybody is a winner. And hatred and dhyan, everybody is a loser. Now, when we have understood what is the nature of this dhyan, of the man, and that thoughts distract us, that thoughts are our curtain to distract our dhyan, then we know that we have actually not understood what is our man. We only know the surface mind. We only know the thought mind. But what is beyond the thought mind? For that we need to be thoughtless. How to be thoughtless? How to move beyond thoughts? We need some information and some training. But important thing is that we somehow understand that dhyan is an important element of life. And we focus our energy in this living lifetime to have this dhyan within us. Then all the jap, tap, puja which we want to do is done by our dhyan, and it is done without effort. So it is called Sahaj Dhyan. non-doing dhyan. What is sahaj? Sahaj is when we don't do, we just experience, where my ego is not there. So there is a relationship between dhyan and my ego. And ego is my thought world. This is where my thought comes from. Most of my thoughts come from my ego, my conditioning, what I've learned, what I think I am, what I perceive myself to be, what I want to be, what I should be, and this conflict between what I am and what I should be, this is all that drains my life. And I never reach what I want to be. I'm never that perfect human being. The thought world is not perfect. The ego world is not perfect. Ego is like that vehicle which we need to travel. And dhyan is the fuel which makes that vehicle travel. If we need to transcend the ego, dhyan is our tool. Without dhyan, we will not transcend the ego world, the thought world. And beyond this ego and thought world is the real spirit world, where we have what we are looking for. We are looking for happiness forever. We are looking for unconditional happiness, timeless happiness, where there is no death. Now, to achieve something like that, we have to invest in it. And the first thing which we need to do is to have dhyan as our element, where a person will sit down and detach himself. Moond liye darwaze. Zazen, just sitting. It doesn't need to be just sitting. It can be moving, it can be walking, it can be running. If the dhyan is now become a second nature to me, which it should be within this lifetime, then it doesn't matter how I sit, how I walk, how I sleep. I can be in dhyan constantly. And I can have dhyan on whatever subject I want. So I can do dhyan on the physical world, think of a subject, and in that perceive it, know it, and then invest in the spirit world as well. So here is the energy which is focused, not distracted, not wandering, not random, but becomes meaningful by its own ability to focus itself and have one center. Thoughtless mind is an important element. And this is our source mind, where we come from and where we will go. Why we need to know this? For this, we need to understand what is life. A life is an experience which is physical, which is temporary, which is moving and changing constantly. And in this life, we can earn the product which we want, depending on what is our focus. If our focus is the physical world, we will put our energy in the physical world, and we may get the returns we want or not get them depending on other conditions. But we will take the effort to do that. But what the physical world needs, what we need from the physical world, is not the complete part of life. It's a portion, a small part of life. Most of life is unseen. We don't know it. And it rests within our man, beyond this thought world. And it needs a lot of commitment, energy, and focus to be able to dwell in this part of the man, which is separated from the physical world. which is the reflection of our Atma, our spirit. That man which harbors our past within itself. Now, if within this lifetime we are able to garner that connection with our source, where we become independent of the physical realities of life, where if everything is gone from this physical world, and even then I have room to stand on. I have a ground which I have created, which is separate from the physical. Then I have gone away victorious. In the sense that life will go away, it will take away its experiences, but it will leave me full of joy. This is what is known as Brahm Gyan. That within the source mind, there is a source of Anand, which is devoid of the physical world. Anand is the nature of our spirit. So Sat, Chit, Anand, that which is truth, that which is my Chit, and that which is Anand. If I have opened this door in this physical world, then I am independent of the physical world. It doesn't matter whether I go through this life in a joyous way or there is troubles in this physical world. Those are the realities of the physical world. Those will unravel according to what my karma is. But see what Guru Sahib says about life. He says, blessed is he who can sing the praise of the Creator. He doesn't say that a person with wealth, power and money, or with peace of mind, he doesn't say that. He says that person who is able to focus on the Creator, he is blessed. It may be that I am troubled in this physical world, and even through these troubles, I am able to sing the praises of the Creator. Meaning what? Sing meaning what? Meaning focus on, do dhyan of the Creator. Now that is the other energy which Guru Nanak Sahib calls Shabad Guru. And that is the second chapter of this whole experience. When Maharaj was asked, who is your Guru? The Siddhs asked Maharaj, yogis asked him, who is your Guru, Guru Nanak? Maharaj says, Shabad Guru, Surt Tum Chela. Shabad is my Guru and Surt is my Chela. Today we are talking about the second word in this answer. We are talking about the Surt. The Dhyan is an experience of the Surt mind, the non-moving, thoughtless mind which connects to Shabad, which is the Guru. So, without the Dhyan, we cannot connect to Shabad. We can do part all day. We can do part for our whole life. But the experience will not open. The experience will open when there is Dhyan. And that gives the Guru the ability to free the mind from its ego. See Maharaj, now let's understand the nature of the man. Our ego mind is our trapped mind. It traps us. And the ego is reflected through thoughts. The me, I am, it's all in the thoughts, depending on my conditioning. I am great, I am moneyed, I am small, I have low self-esteem, high self-esteem, I am powerful. These are all conditionings. There is no permanent reality. In this way, we are all the same, only changing. Now, if someone lives this ego mind and dies in this ego mind, then wandering is our only experience. We keep wandering. This is what in the Japji Maharaj talks about twice. In fact, more than twice. When he says, पुन्नी पापी आखण नाहे कर कर करना लिख ले जाओ, आपे बीज आपे ही खाओ, नानक हुक्मी आवो जाओ. If you are living the ego world, your karma dictates your future. Nanak hukmi avo jao, keep wandering. Then in the Khands also he talks about this. When he tells us that in the moving mind, there are two aspects. One is the karam and one is the nadar. The nether world is where the Surt meets its Guru, where the Dhyan meets Guru. And then in the slok in the end, he also explains the same thing. When he says, Pavan Guru, Pani Pita, Mata Tart Mahat, Divs Raat Doi Dai Daya, Khele Sagal Jagat, Changyaiyan Buriyaiyan Vache Taram Hadur, Karmi Apo Apni Ke Nede Ke Dur. Now this is the Karam world, which the physical world we live in. But he changes the gear. Jinni Naam Te Aaya. There he says, those who know Naam, Gaye Mushakkat Khal, Nanak Te Mukujle Keti Chutti Naal. So, these are two different aspects of life, Maharaj. We are to live the physical world. There is nothing wrong in experiencing it completely, knowing all its aspects, living through it. But the journey becomes more meaningful, in fact fruitful, when we can go beyond this aspect of our life. Beyond the physical world, we go into the spirit world, the nether world, where we have the Guru, and for that we need Dhyan. We need stable mind. Kabir Sahib says in his Shabad, Tuk dam karari jo karo, hazir hazur khudai. Tuk dam karari. For a minute, make the mind stationary. You will find God right in front of you. Hazir hazur khudai. We keep asking, where is God? Is there a God? The answer is in our mind. Have we ever had an experience of the man where there is no thought? When the pond is no longer turbid, it can see its floor. Then only we can see and feel. Now, let me explain it from the chakras, where the people talk about chakras. So, Trikuti is one word which Guru Granth Sahib uses. He says, Kyon Gurbin Trikuti Chutsi? Trikuti is the point above the third eye, right here. We can, in Dhyan we go there. That is our limitation of Dhyan. We can become thoughtless. We can become disconnected from the body. It can all be done by trained mind, and we go into Trikuti. But it doesn't transcend the physical world. He says, without the Guru, how will you leave the Trikuti? How will you leave the ego? The ego still remains. So Surt, you have experienced the Surt, but not the Shabad. If we have to fathom the miracle of Shabad, we have to have a stationary mind, stable mind, a Dhyan man. Now there are two different aspects, and this aspect of, in this play of life, it transcends death, if we play it right. It transcends all change. And then it also gives us the ability to be stable in completely unstable environment. because our dependence on the physical in its extreme experiences is minimized. Of course, it takes a journey to reach there. But we become less and less dependent on the physical world as we proceed into this another world. So, what Maharaj is telling us is that make the man go into Dhyan. Now, let us explore how to do Dhyan. Though a lot of people tell us different tools and methods of Dhyan. One is the simplest ways is the way of the meditation right from Gautam Buddha's time. Is watch your breath. This is one meditation which people do. When we have our thought mind running, we watch our breath and don't catch our thoughts. You see, what happens is that the thought world is defined by my ego, by me. The thoughts are created by me, and I don't know it. It has become so seamless with me that I don't even know that the thoughts are coming from my ego. That separation within our man between the ego and thoughts doesn't happen. So it becomes one. So me is my thoughts. So if I have just for an example, if I have a desire, then it becomes me. But if there is a separation between me and my thoughts, if there is a desire, then there will be a distance between me and my desire. I'll have the ability to drop the desire. If I don't have that separation, that the thoughts are me, so the question to be asked is, are my thoughts me? No, they are not. The moment we give it a separation, we will realize I am not my thoughts. So we let the thoughts flow. We let them come, we let them go. We don't hold on to them and say, this is my thought. And everything changes. And then how does he do that? He watches his breath. So one way of doing it is, first of all, when we want to sit in meditation, relax ourselves, become desireless, worryless. When we are more relaxed, we are less thoughtful. Think about the time when we were really very relaxed. We had no desire, no needs. We don't want anyone, anything. Our thoughts are dropping away. It's like pedaling a cycle. We used to pedal the cycle and the cycle moves. And we stop pedaling, the cycle drops. So does the mind drop when we stop energizing the thoughts. When I say, I am not my thoughts. But what happens with most of us is that this identification between me and my thoughts has become so strong that I don't feel the difference. My thought becomes me and it makes me travel. And it is mostly random. When I sit for Dhyan or sit in meditation, a thought will come, what will happen at work in the morning? And then I start going in that thought. Say, maybe I should tell that person this. Maybe I should do this. The thought has taken me on a trail. So the other way of doing this is close our files. Close all the issues which we have and say, okay, I will address this after an hour. For 1 hour, I am not addressing any issue of life. I am free of everything. And the best way of doing it is, I am free of me also. I am no longer me. I drop the me. Wash your hair every third day. Certain oils benefit Dhyan. We can use to cool the head. We can use certain oils to energize the head. most of our stress goes into our body, it goes into our legs. So hydrate the legs, cream them. You want to sit with the spine straight, nothing, there is no harm. And an experienced person, Dhyan, he becomes free of all these aspects. But in the initial, all these aspects help us. It's called associations. We make associations, like we make a place where we do Dhyan. Then if we do that every day, then going to the place becomes Dhyan. What we can do also is drink a lot of water, because it drains away our stresses. If you drink a lot of water, hydrate ourselves, then Dhyan becomes easier. The nature of Dhyan, when we have experienced this whole faculty of doing this sitting down and experiencing Dhyan, then we will slowly see that our thoughts reduce as we go along. One interesting experience I had, that I used to go to this place in Himachal alone, and there was this homestay they had, and it was a riverside. And I saw that my mind became very peaceful in the riverside. It became very calm, because the moving mind, the energy is taken away by the river. The moving river, the sound of that river, it calms my moving mind. So it always helped in doing meditation in that environment. And one day I told that person, look, I need some tea and coffee in the morning. I wake up at 2, 3 in the morning. So he left the kitchen open for me. The 4th or 5th day, I realized that going to the kitchen became Dhyan, because the association was happening. And I remembered this story from the Zen Buddhism, where they have this tea ceremony. They do tea ceremony in a very artistic way in Dhyan. It's called the tea ceremony. And if you're a tourist, they make us experience it and see it. Now what happens in Buddhism is that tea is their staple drink. They drink tea to do Dhyan before they do, and it is associated with Bodhidharma, the person who took Buddhism from India to Tibet, China, and then it went to the East. So tea is a part of all Dhyan ceremonies in Buddhism. And especially in the monasteries, you will see sampa, the tea leaves and butter, being cooked throughout the day. In fact, that's all their food they have. Now, when they cook this tea every day, when they make this tea every day, so making tea itself became Dhyan. So associations help. We can focus our Dhyan on any one senses. Like you can even focus on certain smells. You can have pleasant smell which helps us meditate. Rose, sandalwood, these are smells. They associate our man into the Dhyan. These are just associations. They have no real long-term meaning. But these are crutches which we use before we start to walk. An experienced person will do Dhyan without any effort, without any posture, walking, sleeping. He will be in Dhyan, or she, because it has become second nature. And in that Dhyan, there is knowledge. If we have done Dhyan and we have preserved our energy, and if someone was to come to try and meet you and is walking towards you, so someone is doing your Dhyan, you will know that someone is coming. the issue becomes that we are very distracted. Our energies are, even in Dhyan, we let go of our energy into issues. So we don't have that empowerment to be able to read our mind. Bathing before Dhyan will always help. Washing the face especially will help. It cleanses the thought process. And then when we do sit in Dhyan, what we use as a tool is ultimately the Shabad. So when Guru Nanak Sahib talks about Dhyan in the Japji, he says, sing the Shabad and put your Dhyan in the Shabad. So Sunna is the energizing way in which Dhyan happens. Suniye maniye, man ki tapa. Love is experienced in that mind which first listens. Then it follows, manna. It implements, transforms itself. And love becomes the result of this experience. Antargat Tirath Malnav. Then there is pilgrimage within the man. The another way of how we can do Dhyan more quickly is to be in Sangat of those people who are in Dhyan. If you are able to stay or be with someone who's actually in Dhyan constantly, then we will be in Dhyan. For that we only will do the seva. We can wash utensils, we can serve water, but while we do that, our Dhyan is focused on the person who is doing Dhyan. So, being around someone who is in Dhyan, we become Dhyanast. And that's the fastest way actually of doing this. Meditating in darkness, being without light, that helps Dhyan. If we have light on always, we can't meditate. Always helps if we can have a dark room, be without light for some time. Have a small stimulant if you want. Tea, coffee. Coffee is a Sufi drink. Tea is a Buddhist drink. The nature of life can be opened by us if we have experienced Dhyan. And once we have learned this Dhyan, or we know this Dhyan, it will not leave us. Even in our next birth, it will come forth. And if we have chosen a direction for this Dhyan, it will guide us even then. That Dhyan will take us into that direction which we have chosen. So there is this tantric world. They use Dhyan in the negative sense. In the ego world, they use it to enhance their ego, their self-desire, their money-making machine, hurting others, or distorting the realities of life. Now that is the hell world. That's the hatred world, where one uses the other. They also use Dhyan, but it becomes negative. So, being a man which is Shuddh, a pure mind, is mandatory for the spiritual journey. Shuddh meaning desireless, which doesn't have a desire to dominate the other. That coupled with Dhyan will take us into the spirit journey. If we can do it in this lifetime, there are possibilities. We have a guru, we have Shabad, we can transcend death. But don't think that it's an easy job. Don't take it lightly. Make it a project where we invest energy, invest time, invest Sangat. And once we know this Dhyan, and once the Guru and Shabad and Surt meet, then Trikuti can be transcended. The ego world can be transcended. It still doesn't guarantee no death or no birth, but it will be very close. We will be on our way. It depends on how much time this body has. So we have to think about these issues and submit our energy and commit ourselves to this as a project. That I must know Dhyan. I must experience Dhyan. And it can be done while living this troublesome world or relaxed world, depending on what our karmas are. It doesn't matter. Sometimes sukh can be a curse. Sometimes dukh can be a blessing. It all depends on how we perceive this world and how we react to it. If our commitment to the spiritual world is intense, then Dhyan is our step towards a spiritual experience. And the more adept we become in Dhyan, the more fruitful we are even as a Sikh, even as a learner. The Guru will prefer somebody who is in Dhyan. He will choose someone who knows Dhyan, because Dhyan is a lifetime experience. It's very valuable. There still may be pitfalls. Ego still becomes our problem every now and then, but we have that fuel in the vehicle to go where we really want. I met one sadhu once. He said, "Tu tehda digda chadda ja." You fall, but wake up and get up and walk again. Don't stop walking. Don't let go of your commitment and your inner prayer, no matter what happens. Because a lot happens in this physical world which is out of our control. But yet we know, when we have known Dhyan, when we have experienced Dhyan, then we know we have it. Then we transcend thoughts. The moment we transcend thoughts, we are worryless. In this one Shabad, which I really like, Bhagat Kabir talks about this. Ved kate biftara pai, dil ka fikr na jaye. You have studied so many scriptures. You discuss them, discourse them, debate them, but your worries are not gone. Tuk dam karari jo karo, हाजिर हुजूर खुदाए. बंदे खोज दिल हर रोज, ना फिर परेशानी माए. Search your man, go beyond your thoughts, then there are no worries. Now, I'm not saying that be without worry throughout the day. I also worry. If we have to live the physical world, you have to worry about certain things, certain aspects. You need to worry, and that is our tool. But do we have some time in the day where we give up this worry, where we are free of it, where we say, okay, these hours, I'm going to live the spirit world, and I will live the physical world the rest of the time. And our whole life gets defined. Our journey gets guided by the spirit world. It doesn't leave us. Whom we call God, Creator, Allah, Ram, whatever. That energy then starts guiding us our life. And Guru Maharaj in Asadivar, there is one line in which he says, "De lambi nadar nihaliye." Have a vision beyond death about life. Most of our vision of life is up to this physical world. We don't have a vision beyond it. And Dhyan can give us that vision. Dhyan can give us experiences. I don't think that experiences are so relevant, but Dhyan can give us transcendence from the physical world. It makes us transcend the changing mind. It can give us the experience of Anand and Shabad. Because we are not focusing on Shabad today, we are discussing Dhyan. So one of the ways is watch your breath. That is one way. The other is to meditate on Shabad. Gaviye, suniye, man rakhiye pao. While you sing it, listen to it. That takes our mind into Dhyan. Transforms the mind, changes the structure of the mind. We give it 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. If our mind is very fluid, very moving, very distracted, then use the breath. Use Waheguru Shabad as your breath stimulant, in and out. It stabilizes the moving mind. And then go into Dhyan. One of the reasons I have done this talk today is to make us understand that we have to make Dhyan our project. Without Dhyan and Shabad, this life cannot be understood in its completeness. So try and give this Dhyan aspect a commitment. Make it as real as possible. Give it energy, time, knowledge, research. I think we have taken 1 hour in the talk today. I would like to welcome questions, because this is a very open subject. If you have any questions about Dhyan or how and what to do in Dhyan, please raise your hand. If you are in YouTube, you can write out the question and we will read it out here in Zoom. I hope I was of help. Do forgive my errors. And with the prayer that most of us change our life to understand Dhyan and Shabad as part of our experience of life. Thank you. Gagandeep. Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.
We just needed some more understanding. You know, when you ended, you said we can start focusing on the breath, use Waheguru, and then get into Dhyan. I could not understood. Then get, you know, when we are doing that and then we get into Dhyan is what I couldn't.
Waheguru has 2 words, Waheguru. So, Vahe is the breath out and Guru is the breath in. So, we use this while we breathe. And this is one energy which can change our inner structure of the man also. Suppose we are feeling low, we are feeling distracted, we can use this Waheguru as an experience. Waheguru, out and in. If we do this for say 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, and then we watch the mind, it becomes calmer.
Okay.
Try it and see. Ji.
So yeah, that you know, we actually tried doing that. But what I was, so you know, when we start doing it, it's always somewhere the thought comes in, oh, you know what, we are doing it because something will happen. And somehow, after some time, the mind keep going, what will happen? And
Yeah,
then,
and that means we are living in expectation. We are catching the thoughts that this is my thought. Ignore the thoughts. That's the only way you can meditate. If you catch the thoughts, we can't meditate. Then we will be distracted. Let the thoughts come and go, and as though they are not your thoughts.
yes, Viji.
Let the thoughts happen. Don't try and suppress them, but don't hold on to them either, that this is my thought. This will happen, this will not happen. It's a thought. Where is it coming from? The ego. The ego wants to expectation, wants results. This is how we have been conditioned. So that is what we keep seeing. Ignore these thoughts. Ignore all thoughts. Focus on the Shabad. How are you seeing, how are you focusing on Shabad if you are focusing on the thought? You can't do both. If you focus on the Shabad, you will not be able to focus on the thought. That means you are not focusing on Waheguru, the Shabad. If you are focusing on Waheguru, then you cannot focus on the thought. It will come and go.
Yes, and the experience is more like on and off. You try doing it, and then
It's all
you
right.
lose it,
On and off is fine.
then you keep coming back.
Because we have not lived in that environment, it takes time for us to get used to that environment. It's okay. On and off is fine. Don't sit in expectation. Just do it out of love. And once we get used to that environment, then it becomes easier as we go ahead. Initially, it's difficult because our feet are stuck in ego. We are already submerged in the ego and stuck in that. Hum dekhe ta doobi ele.
Thank you, Viji.
Waheguru ji ki false. Waheguru ji ki fateh Maharaj.
He said, do it out of love. So, how to cultivate or how to create or how to bring that love in ourselves?
Love is not to be cultivated by us. Love is a ever-present energy of our spirit. We just become thoughtless and love will find its way. Love is our inner reality. The nature of our soul and spirit is love. It's not hatred. We just focus on the Shabad. And love will find its roots. Love will find its expression. We can't, if the ego cultivates love, then it is with hatred. It's not about the ego, it's about letting go. It's not about doing, it's about non-doing. Don't do anything. Just let go. We are always trying to do. And we are not the creators here. The Creator has created a perfect mind and it rests within us. We just need to search for it. And letting go of the ego is the only way we can find it. Of our own ego, our thoughts. Transcending that. जी If there are no more questions, we'll.
Vijay, there is a message in the chat box.
Okay.
Yes, it's difficult to do Vahe breathe out and Guru breathe in. Am I right? Can anyone reply on my question?
Yes, Vahe breathe out and Guru breathe in. And focus on breathing out and let the breath come on its own. Throw the thought breath out. Focus on that. And focus on Waheguru. Then you will become thoughtless. Yes, we can practice it, but online practicing may not be the best way. Maybe we can do it. If you're in Delhi, we can have a session in the evening someday. Sure. We'll try and organize that. How long do meditate? How long do you enjoy meditation? Meditation is a timeless world. It has no time. So actually, if you see, when we have the malas and the beads and the counting, that actually takes away from the meditation. There is joy and peace within the man in the meditation. Meditate how long you enjoy it. How long you can be. And actually we can call for it, pray for it, ask for it. If you really ask me, those who have meditated, their life is meditation. They are doing everything in Dhyan. Their Dhyan is their life. In fact, a small portion of their life they break away from meditation, but otherwise they are always in meditation. I lived 5 years with someone who was deeply meditative, and being around him made me meditative. I used to just be around and do menial tasks, clean the room, give him water, cook the food sometimes, be his driver, take out the clothes when he's dressing up. And that was my Dhyan. Everything was in Dhyan. Because he was in Dhyan always. Will it not be easy to meditate if the speed of breath in and breath out is deep and slow? Yes. The idea is to meditate. Now there are two things. Some people focus on the breath and they wait for it to impact the mind. But if we are meditative, the breath is controlled by the meditation. I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying. If I am in Dhyan, then my mind will be restful and the breath will be restful. So people try and make the breath slow and then make the mind restful. That is also doable, but I think the more realistic aspect is if the mind is in Dhyan and it is restful, the breath becomes restful. We don't have to focus on the breath then. If you are in Dhyan, you are detached from it all. Just last question. In case we do reverse Vahe breath in Guru, breathe out, will that make any difference? I am not sure. I have not done it like that. I was told to do it this way and I did it that way, because whenever we start meditation, we always tend to breathe in. Yes, that's true. But there is a reason I'm saying breathe out. There is a very big reason. for why I'm saying don't focus on breathing in. Breathing in says I am. Breathing out is saying you are. It reduces the strength of the ego. There is a saint from China, Lao Tzu, and Tao Te Ching is like a religion in China. He used to have this meditation. He used to say, just breathe out and don't breathe in on your consciously. Let it happen unconsciously. Just throw your breath out. Breathing out is like reducing the ego, the mind strength. Breathing in is saying I am. Ji. I hope you understand what I'm saying, Sonam. Good, Ji. Any more questions? So those of you who will be interested in a physical session in Delhi, we can organize that. Maybe you can send a message to us, so then we can see how many participants are there, and then we can have an actual session of Shabad Dhyan. So I think you need to send messages on the WhatsApp group. That may be easier because we don't record this and save the messages in Zoom. Ji.
Sonam had something that if we, I think so that if we don't use the word Waheguru, we can use any other word.
I am not. There are other ways people use Allahu, people use Soham. It depends on the nature of how you are meditating. Somebody has raised the hand. Mandeep Kaur.
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह हाँ जी
I want to know so I have felt that every time when I'm reciting Mool Mantra, usually there is no thought or emotion, but while reciting any other kirtan or so suppose the Shabad says something like asking for Naam, or the Shabad may say that I want Sangat or something like that. The emotions get attached to it, but I always feel that while doing kirtan or while listening to it, mind gets more focused in that as compared to just saying just like that. So in both the cases, can we say that the dhyan can be there, or when the emotions are there, the dhyan cannot be there?
Emotions, let me say this. Dhyan, two experience of Shabad. One experience of Shabad is the thought mind, where we analyze what the Shabad is saying. That is the darshan in the ego mind. But what is the vichar of the Shabad in thoughtless mind? It is Dhyan. Dhyan, Surt and Shabad. See what Maharaj is saying. He says there is no ego in that state. So who is questioning, who is thinking, who is the emotions? There is no me. Shabad and Surat, that becomes the inner reality. There is no ego. There is no person, me there. As the moment me comes into the picture, Naam is gone. Either Naam will be there or ego will be there. Home naame naal birod hai. Doye na bas ek thaye. So do Shabad Dhyan, thoughtless mind. Shabad Vichar in the thought mind. They both have their relevance.
Can I give you an example what I was trying to say? So the line, suppose the line says, Apni Kirpa Tar. While reciting the Shabad, I'm saying this line again and again. There is no thought as such. I'm not thinking anything like, there's no vichar of me doing anything. The line, whatever the line is, I'm just reciting that. The emotion will get attached if I am seeking the same thing, suppose. The Shabad says, Kirpa Apni Tar.
Emotions,
And I am reciting.
there are two sources of this emotion. One is the emotions like we call love. Love is the reality of the inner mind. One is the ego mind, which is saying, I love. These are two different natures of love. In the ego mind, there is no absolute feeling. Now, what I think you are saying is that I also feel emotional. Now, if the emotion is there, then that is fine. There is love you are feeling. That is fine. That is the miracle of Shabad. Love is the reality of the inner mind. Love, Anand, and egoless mind, thoughtless mind. And only the Guru's meeting makes this happen.
Ji, thank you so much.
Thank you. Maharaj.
It's not a question, it's a personal thing, that whenever we read something new, I feel we are more concentrated. But whatever we are reading again and again, we think that one is not Hajis. Like thoughts come and we start thinking and the part goes on. But when we read something new, we are more.
That is the nature of the mind. When we find a new space, a new place, we travel somewhere, when we have a new experience, the mind is fresh. So it is more focused, it has more energy, it's less drained. But this is the changing mind. It's not the meditative mind. The meditative mind will find meditation everywhere. It is devoid of the physical reality. It may be encouraged by certain environments, but its nature will be the same. But the ego mind or the moving mind or the thought mind, that has these experiences. The thoughts become less, we go to a new place, we go to a journey, we go somewhere without any aim or focus, we do travels, we go through trekking to the mountains, the thoughts drop away. That is meditation. It's happening because of the experience of the moving mind. And we are able to drop the mind, and so that's why people feel relief. That is why they had these the pilgrimages in earlier years. They used to send people according to the pain they felt. They would send them for months on a journey. Now walking for 2 months all the pain will go away by just walking. So the device was the journey itself. There was no other pilgrimage. The mind would drop the issues because it was changing constantly, and old issues get dropped. So the pilgrimage had its effect on the mind. They would be relaxed. The pain will go away. That would be one method in which how people would try and heal the other. So you go for a 1 month journey somewhere. So all my pain, my chaos, all that will drop as I keep walking away on a journey. Ji.
There is no other hand raised or question. Should we ask?
If there is any more questions, then we conclude with an answer.
Should we request?
Ji, Hanji. Anybody can do.
Anybody who wants to do an answer, podium. Please welcome.
Harneet is. Can I unmute Harneet? Ji.
Am I audible?
Ji, yeah, please.
Waheguru Ji, Ram Kali, Anand Ek Onkar, Satguru Prasad, Anand Paya Meri Mai, Satguru Main Paya, Satguru Ka Paya, Sahaj Suti, Man Rachiyan Da Dhyan, Kara Garatan, Pargar Parina, Shabad Gaman Aiya, Shabdo Tangavo Hari Kera, Man Jini Rasaya, कहे नानक आनंद हुआ सतगुरु में पाया। हे मन मेरिया तुम सदा रहूं कर नाले, हर नाल रहूं तुम मान मेरे, दूत सर्व सारना, अंगीकार पुर करे तेरा कारक सब सराहना। सदना गना समरथ स्वामी सो क्यों मनो बसारे, कहे नानक मन मेरे सदा रहूं हर नाले। साचे साहेबा क्या नहीं कर तेरे, करता तेरे सब किछ है, जिस ते सो पावे। सदा सिर्फ सलाह तेरी, ये नाम मन बसावे। नाम जिनके मन बसिया, बाजे शब्द कनेरे। कहे नानक सच्चे साहिब, क्या नहीं करो तेरा, साचा नाम मेरा आधारो। साच नाम आधार मेरा जिन भुखा सब गमाइया, कर शांत सुख मन आय बसिया, जिन इच्छा सब बुझाइया। सदा गुरबान कीता गुर विटहो, जिस दियां वडियाइया। कहे नानक सुनो संतो, अबद धरो प्यारो। साचा नाम मेरा आधारो। बाजे पंच शब्द घर सुभागे शब्द बाजे, कला जुग कर धारियां। पंच दूत तुद बस कीते, काल कंटक मारिया। तुर कर्म पाया तुद जिनको, से नाम करके लागे। कहे नानक तह सुख होवा, तित कर अनहद बाजे। आनंद सुनो बड़ भागी हो, सगल मनोरथ पूरे। पार ब्रह्म प्रभ पाया, उतरे सगल विसूरे। भूख रोग संताप उतरे, सुनी सच्ची बाणी। संत साजन भये सरसे, पूरे गुर ते जानी। सुनते पुनीत कहते पवित्र, सतगुर रहा पर पूरे। बिन मंत नानक गुर चरण लागे, बाजे अनहद पूरे। ਸੁਣਤੇ ਪੁਨੀਤ ਕਹਤੇ ਪਵਿੱਤ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਭਰਪੂਰੇ ਬਿਨ ਬੰਤ ਨਾਨਕ ਗੁਰ ਚਰਨ ਲਾਗੇ ਬਾਜੇ ਅਨਹਦ ਪੂਰੇ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ।